Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pop Art Hunter channel. Today we're going to be framing 3 pieces from a Don Bluth classic, All Dogs Go to Heaven. Now these are character model sheets. I purchased them and unboxed them a little bit earlier, but we're going to go ahead and frame them now so they look nice and pretty and I can put them on my wall. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be framing this piece here. This is Itchy from All Dogs Go to Heaven. I have already framed 2 other pieces that I received within this lot that accompanied Sir Itchy. This is Anne Marie from All Dogs Go to Heaven, and I really love these 2 pieces. We have one that's black and white. This is sheet 1, and then sheet 2 has the painted color backgrounds that are here. And so, you know, as when I received these cells, they have an aroma to them. And, you know, when I first received them, I would describe the aroma as very, very, very extremely potent. And it made me worry about vinegar syndrome and what that might look like. And I've heard different things about vinegar syndrome. I've heard that, you know, it smells like vinegar. I've also heard, no, it doesn't smell that sharp. It doesn't have that sort of a tang to it. It's more of a, you know, like a musty color crayon box or something like that. And so I'm a little nervous because, you know, I've experienced, most of the cells I get are pretty high quality, and I haven't experienced vinegar syndrome firsthand of a cell that has deteriorated. I have one other cell from the Smurfs that when I opened up, it actually had, in my opinion, a very vinegary smell to it. And so that has been kind of isolated from my other cells. Put aside, I'm just going to monitor that. This one doesn't have that same sort of smell. So I've not worked with it a lot to know the exact smell to have that ingrained. You know, it's like, that smells like fresh cut grass. Like, I just have that ingrained in my olfactory glands. So my thought on these is that it possibly is not vinegar syndrome because it smells more just musty. It has like, you know, like an old attic smell kind of thing. And maybe that is, you know, exact vinegar syndrome for all I know. However, I thought, well, I'll try to salvage the smell of these and see what's going to happen. So I got some of these Mippet sheets, and essentially you just put these inside near the cells. Typically, I think these are used for like comic books in between pages to try to preserve them. And so I use those on here. The smell is still there. It's not as strong at all. And so I'm going to monitor these. The cells are in extremely good condition. There's no rippling. There's no real damage. I mean, obviously, these are Xerox copies. One cell has a small crack in one of the sides. But that is like a handling issue or a Xeroxing issue from the studio because that's how they mass produce these. But there's just no other signs of any degradation or deterioration at all. And so my hope is that this is not vinegar syndrome. I'm going to keep a close eye on them. These are individually framed and they're separated because of that. I mean, from any other cells are not touching or near the other cells in that nature. So hopefully that's going to protect these things. So I framed those 2. I don't know if I mentioned this in the intro or not. I can't remember. But essentially my camera cut off and I lost the data of framing those 2 items. And so we're just going to frame this one and show you how that works so that you know how I frame these other 2. And, you know, yeah. So just pretend that you saw that I framed those other ones as well. Whoops. So I took out the cardboard and the acrylic that is, you know, just kind of a thin, cheap acrylic that comes with those economy frames. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this up. This is a 1/10 inch UV acrylic, and as always, a reminder, make sure that if you are using UV acrylic, and that means that it's going to help protect from UV light, but that does not mean that you want to put it in front of the sun. In my home, we have 2 cells that are on the wall that when the patio, I'm so sorry, camera, I didn't mean to do that. That when they are, when our patio door is open, 2 of the cells get a little bit of direct sunlight on them. And those cells are not extremely valuable. They're pretty cool and I love them. And that's why I have them displayed where they are and prominently. But, you know, if something were to damage them, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But also, for those few instances where there's direct sunlight that's coming through that patio on them, it's for a very short amount of time and nothing too major. A few cells in our home has maybe some indirect sunlight. When a patio door is open or something, might bounce off one wall to the other and then get around the hallway or something and give a little bit of an illumination in that area. But for the most part, we have like black blackout on our windows in our bedroom, and we don't have the patio door or curtains open very often. And so for me, I'm not too worried about that. But my point being is just don't put things in direct sunlight. That's not the way you want to do it. These are not meant to be stored in that fashion, and so if you're going to display them, you have to make sure you're trying to replicate a nice storage system while having them out on display. You want to make sure that you do as much as you can as far as temperature control and lighting and all those sorts of things to the best of your ability, so you don't damage them and they don't deteriorate. So we're going to go ahead and lay this on there. With the other two cells, the one thing that I noticed was that, these are Xeroxed, and because of that, they're a little bit off-centered. And so for the other two cells, the way that they were Xeroxed, the peg holes were actually on the bottom. On this one, the peg holes are on the top, which I actually like better because of the way that they Xeroxed it. It's centered a little bit better. On the other cells, the name of the characters in the upper right-hand corner when you're looking at the frame from the front side. And it is very, very hard to see. Not hard to see the character's name. I mean, I've got it in a way that you can see it, but it's so close to the edge, it just doesn't seem as though it's right. So for this Itchy piece, they actually Xeroxed it upside down. And so the peg holes are at the top, and as such, there's a little bit more room away from the peg holes. And also, you have a little bit of extra space at the bottom of the cells so that you can raise the character up a little bit. So this is going to be better centered and better displayed than the other two cells combined, probably. So that's going to be pretty good. For me, I will take that as a win, though the other cells for me are way better because of the black and white versus the color version. I just think that is so awesome to have, them side by side. It just shows like this contrast between the sketch process versus the color process. I know there's Xerox and it's not, a direct line paint on those cells, but man, is that cool. Okay, I'm just going to assume this is good, so I'm going to go ahead and put this other mat on top, and then I'm going to assume that's good. I'm going to put the backing on, and then we're going to close up a few of these, and then I'm going to flip it around, see what it looks like, and if it's great, it's great. I can close all the rest of the tabs. If it's not great, I can open it up and cry and get tears on the cells and everything else. Well, look at that. Hey, that looks pretty good. Yeah. I think so. Overall, this is consistent with the other ones. I mean, I know the peg holes are in a different spot. I'm just very worried about the vinegar syndrome. I hope it's not that. I'll research it a little bit further. Again, maybe can someone send me some vinegar syndrome in the mail so I can sniff it and see what it smells like? And hopefully it doesn't smell like this. And that's just going to come with more time. I've been lucky not to have any deterioration in that fashion. So even if this turns out to have vinegar syndrome, and I can only enjoy it for a few years just looking at it, and I can learn the smells of that particular condition, that will be worth the price as far as the education is concerned, and also the enjoyment of the cells for that time. But I hope that even if they have vinegar syndrome, that they're going to last for years to come outside of the next couple years. I hope they last for much longer than that. And even better, if they don't have vinegar syndrome, wouldn't that just be swell? So these pieces are great. Can't wait to get them hung on my wall. Yeah, super cool. Unfortunately, the first two framings didn't work out so well. I ran out of memory on my card or battery or something. Something went wrong with the camera. I have the file. It's like 5 gigs or something like that, but I can't open it. It won't do anything. It's corrupt in some fashion. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Maybe I'll figure it out at some point. But we got one framing in this video, and you got to see the other two pieces. Who wants to watch 3 framings anyway? It was a blessing in disguise. I'm glad that I was able to get these pieces framed. I think they look great with each other. I think they're going to look really nice. The fact that I have one that's full color with Anne-Marie and one that's black and white is really cool. I think that's going to look great on the wall. And then Itchy with kind of that transitional piece with half only a couple figures in color and the rest are just the sketches. I think that's pretty neat. And so I think they're going to look really cool all together. I don't have a lot of character model sheets in my collection, especially one from a movie like All Dogs Go to Heaven, which is a Don Bluth classic and a really sought after piece. So thanks for watching the Pop Art Hunter channel. Hopefully you like, subscribe, comment, and all those sorts of things, and we will see you next time.